Chapter 4. Tyson Plays with Fire. Mythologically speaking, if there's anything I hate worse than a trio of old ladies, it's bulls. Last summer, I fought the Minotaur on top of Half-Blood Hill. This time, what I saw up there was even worse. Two bulls. And not just regular bulls. Bronze ones, the size of elephants. And even that wasn't bad enough. Naturally, they had to breathe fire, too. As soon as we exited the taxi, the Gray sisters peeled out, heading back to New York, where their life was safer. They didn't even wait for the extra 3 drachma payment. They just left us on the side of the road. Annabeth with nothing but her backpack and knife, Tyson and me still in our burned-up tie-dyed gym clothes. "Oh, man," Annabeth said, looking at the battle raging on the hill. What worried me weren't the bulls themselves, or the 10 heroes in full battle armor who were getting their bronze-plated booties whooped. What worried me was the bulls were raging all over the hill, even around the backside of the pine tree. That shouldn't have been possible. The camp's magic boundaries didn't allow monsters to cross past Dahlia's tree, but the metal bulls were doing it anyway. One of the heroes shouted, "Border Patrol, to me!" A girl's voice then sounded gruff and familiar. "Border Patrol, to me!" Border Patrol, I thought. The camp didn't have a Border Patrol. "It's Clarice," Annabeth said. "Come on, we have to help her." Normally, rushing to Clarice's aid would not have been high on my to-do list. She was one of the biggest bullies at camp. The first time we'd met, she tried to introduce my head to a toilet. She was also the daughter of Ares, and I had a very serious disagreement with her father last summer, so now the god of war and all his children basically hated my guts. Still, she was in trouble. Her fellow warriors were scattering, running in panic as the bulls charged. The grass was burning in huge swaths all around the pine tree. One hero screamed and waved his arms as he ran in circles, the horsehair plume on his helmet blazing like a fiery mohawk. Clarice's own armor was charred. She was fighting with a broken spear shaft, the other embedded uselessly in the metal joint of one bull's shoulder. I uncapped my ballpoint pen. It shimmered, glowing longer and heavier, until I held the bronze sword Anaclumos in my hands. "Tyson, stay here. I don't want you taking any chances." "No," Annabeth said. "We need him." I stared at her. "He's mortal. He got lucky with the dodgeballs, but he can't—" "Percy, do you know what those are up there? Those are Clothius bulls, made by Hephaestus himself. We can't fight with them. And we need Medea's sunscreen SPF 50,000 if we want to stand a chance. We'll get burnt to a crisp." "Medea's what?" Annabeth rummaged through her backpack and cursed. "I had a jar of tropical coconut scent sitting on my nightstand at home. Why didn't I bring it?" I'd learned a long time ago not to question Annabeth too much. It just made me more confused. "Look, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm not going to let Tyson get fried." "Percy!" "Tyson, stay back." I raised my sword. "I'm going in." Tyson tried to protest, but I was already running up the hill towards Clarice, who was yelling at a patrol, trying to get them into a phalanx formation. It was a good idea. The few of them who were listening lined up shoulder to shoulder, locking their shields to form an ox-hide and bronze wall, their spears bristling over the top like porcupine quills. Unfortunately, Clarice could only muster 6 campers. The other 4 were still running around with their helmets on fire. Annabeth ran towards them, trying to help. She taunted one of the bulls into chasing her, then turned invisible, completely confusing the monster. The other bull charged Clarice's line. I was halfway up the hill, not close enough to help. Clarice hadn't even seen me yet. The bull moved deadly fast for something so big. Its metal hide gleamed in the sun. It had fist-sized rubies for eyes and horns of polished silver. When it opened its huge mouth, a column of white-hot flame blasted out. "Hold the line!" Clarice ordered her warriors. Whatever else you could say about Clarice, she was brave. She was a big girl with cruel eyes like her father. She looked like she was born to wear Greek battle armor, but I didn't see how even she could stand against the bull's charge. Unfortunately, at that moment, the other bull lost interest in finding Annabeth. It turned, wheeling around behind Clarice on her unprotected side. "Behind you!" I yelled. "Look out!" I shouldn't have said anything, because as soon as I did, I was staring at her. Bull number 1 crashed into her shield, and the phalanx broke. Clarice went flying backwards and landing in a smoldering patch of grass. The bull charged past her, but not before blasting the other heroes with its fiery breath. Their shields melted right off their arms. They dropped their weapons and ran as bull number 2 closed in on Clarice for the kill. I lunged forward and grabbed Clarice by the straps of her armor. I dragged her out of the way just as bull number 2 freight train passed. I gave it a good swipe with Riptide and cut a huge gash in its flank. but the monster just creaked and groaned and kept on going.